Okay, so this experience was in 2005, and this was a sexual assault by a female reptilian. This reptilian here looks like a male reptilian in drag, but I just put some hair on him and some lipstick. Yeah, I don't know who makes up all these pictures, but they're pretty dang cool. This one didn't have a copyright or anything, but I just altered it to make it look like a female. But anyway, so this female reptilian looked nothing like this, but she did actually show herself to me. So anyway, in 2000, let's see, I dated this woman for about probably no more than 3 or 4 months, and that was around 2004. And then, so after, I lost contact with her, and after I didn't talk to her anymore, probably a whole year passed, maybe even longer, and that's when I had this experience. So see, you got to understand, these reptilians, they know everything about you. They totally know everything about you. They know exactly, what your habits are, and even if you're more submissive or more passive, they can totally imitate that in your abductions. Like, so if you happen to be like a sadistic person and aggressive, then they would probably make you be that way in the abductions. If somebody, became attuned to their reptilians in their life, then the reptilians would make you be that way. But I've never been that way. And they know my personality well, so, they present me with all these, well actually about a year ago, maybe not quite a year ago, several days in a row for like 7 days, they put all these lesbians in my virtual reality experiences in the dream state, and they had all these lesbians like kind of be aggressive towards me, because see, they know that I'm more submissive. So like some people call it resonance, like they're masters of resonance, and that is very freaking true. Yeah, that's totally true. Yeah, and I mean, like, they know how to imitate anybody. They can imitate anybody. I mean, it's amazing what they can do. But yeah, so anyway, this woman I dated, and she was dark. She was a dark-souled person, and I do believe she could have been a reptilian hybrid. I never asked her blood type or whatever, but, because they say the blood types, the rare blood types, the negative blood types, they have a lot more alien DNA, but I do believe she probably was a hybrid simply because I heard this theory that, or maybe it's not a theory, but I heard some of them have these big fat ass thumbs. And she did have these fat ass thumbs. And she was a sadistic bitch, that's for sure. But I actually had more fun having sex with the female reptilian than I did her. So yeah, I do believe she was like I say, and it just so happens to be, it's just meant to be, synchronistically that, I've dated a lot of hybrids, but I didn't figure that out till, a few years ago or whatever. I do believe she was a hybrid, and this other alcoholic woman I dated was also a reptilian hybrid. Yeah, so it was just meant to be for whatever reason. So in 2004, I dated this dark-souled woman, but I didn't realize that at the time. And I dated her for about 3 to 4 months. And then the last time I dated her was that January. She came up to Kansas City. And then, like I say, a whole year went by, maybe a little longer than a year went by, and I had this experience. So anyway, at that time, between 2003 and 2006, I was going out of body like every day around noontime. And I believe, you know, I was going out of body and having all these out-of-body experiences. But most of the time I would go out on my own, but I was having a lot of abductions, out-of-body experiences where the aliens were pulling me out, but I didn't realize it at that time. And they were, you know, fun experiences. But anyway, so anyway, I went out of body one afternoon, probably around noontime. I went, or about 1 o'clock p.m. I didn't have to be at work till 4:30, sometimes 5. So sometimes I would even sleep till like 2 p.m., sometimes even 3 p.m. So, you know, I had a habit of going out of body anywhere between 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Mainly 1 p.m. to about, well, I mean, most of the time about noon to 2 p.m. So anyway, so I came back from an astral trip. I shot off and went and landed in the heaven realm that morning, or that afternoon. So as I was coming, see, I bypassed all 12 dimensions, or however many dimensions there are. When I shot off, I bypassed all 12 dimensions. I always went to the heaven realms at that time, when I astral traveled. Okay, so the reptilians, they operate very close to this dimension. So during that particular afternoon, when I was flying back to get back in my body, you know, I had to go pass through the lower realms again to get back to the third dimension. You know, third dimension, fourth dimension, those are lower than the heaven realms. So we'll call the heaven realms, you know, number 5,000 dimension. So when you have to go fly back to 3D and get back in your body, you have to go, you know, you have to pass through the lower dimensions. You know, you have to go through the fourth dimension to get back to your body, you know, to the third dimension. So within probably about 3 or 4 feet from getting back into my physical body, that's when I was attacked. Okay? That's when this female reptilian attacked me. I didn't know it was a female reptilian at that time. But that's when she attacked me, she pinned me down, and then she proceeded to do some sexual acts. I'm not going to say exactly what she did, but she imitated exactly the ex-sadistic bitch girlfriend that I dated a year or a little longer previous. About a year previous, or maybe a tad bit longer. She imitated her exactly how me and her, you know, used to get it on or whatever. So, anyway, okay, and she did completely show herself to me. She completely showed herself to me. She had, you know, she had silver hair. She looked older, you know, she looked older than the real woman that I dated. She looked older and uglier and more wrinkly. And, but she looked similar to her, very similar. And yeah, so I saw her perfectly. And what she was doing, it's like she was speaking some reptilian language, and it's like she was almost getting off on what she was doing to me. You know, you can tell she was, you know, I don't know, she was getting off in some way, shape, or form. You can tell she was enjoying it. And she was speaking some weird reptilian alien language that I know nothing about. She was like, and I mean, it was like no language I ever heard on planet Earth. I mean, no language whatsoever. But see, she tried to look exactly like her, which she did a good job, except she looked uglier and older. And she imitated her exactly how me and her used to have sex. And, like I say, she was kind of like getting off on it, like looking up, like, and like I say, this language sounded nothing like I ever heard any language on planet Earth. Now that's not their thing with me. Like, they've never taught me, you know, alien languages. That's just not their thing with me. They like to take, you know, their thing is out-of-body experiences and virtual, you know, reality experiences. That's what they like to do with me. That's the programs I'm running. And so anyway, Okay, so anyway, it didn't really last a long time. I mean, I wish it would have lasted a lot longer, but because I already was almost in my body, so it didn't last long because she attacked me so close of me getting back into my physical body, so it did not last long. And I faded back, and yeah, and it did feel good. It felt good. I did actually climax in this abduction. Most of the time I do when they have sex with me, but yeah, I mean, it still felt really good being out of body and everything, you know, the sex, but it didn't last long. I faded back into my physical body pretty fast, and once I did that, all sensations went away. And then of course I was like, oh fuck, man, you know, I wanted the sex to last forever. Yeah, I wanted it to last a long time because astral sex feels so much better than trying to have sex in this 3D reality. Okay, so anyway, so after that experience, like, I was so freaking confused. See, I knew nothing about the aliens at that time. I knew nothing about aliens. Although the very first time I saw Gray was about probably 2004, but I did not put two and two together. My cat actually physically went missing after I saw this gray being. Well, or maybe it was either before or after, I don't know, but I did not put two and two together. But that was the first time I could say I actually saw a gray, like a cyborg type of gray. But anyway, I did not put two and two together, you know, with the cat, and you know, all this paranormal activity I was having and out-of-body experiences. I kept making calls. I kept making all these calls to the aliens, and they kept answering my calls. But all this time, I thought the experiences were coming from my spirit guide and her two black friends that she hangs out with, Danley and Mabe. And I know what all three of them look like. I know what Danley looks like, I know what Mabe looks like, and I know what my spirit guide looks like. So all these encounters I was having, I kept thinking, except for this encounter, I knew it wasn't my spirit guide, I knew it wasn't Danley, I knew it wasn't Mabe. So this is what I thought. I thought, okay, for many years, well actually for, okay, 2005, so for about, you're talking, you know, 7-8 years, I thought that, I thought maybe she actually, her name was Cindy. I thought maybe she actually died. I either thought she died, and yeah, there's no way she died because when I moved back here in 2010, I actually saw her freaking twice. One time at Dollar General and one time at the bookstore. And she gave me these evil fucking demon satanic looks. See, you gotta understand, once you fucking ascend, you fucking see everything. You see everything in these stupid bitches. I mean, everything. I mean, she was so freaking dark the way she fucking looked. And she was still carrying the ugly ass freaking leather, this fake ass, pleather ass purse. This black ass, and she's such a fucking dyke. But she did still carry a purse. But yeah, she's one fucked up bitch. But like I say, I was only 32 years old. And she was 55. And, you know, when you're like in a trance, like most of the general population, you know, they're dating people, they're being abused left and right, and they don't even see it, you know? They don't even see it. And, I mean, because, like, when she was at Barnes & Noble's, and she just was like, I was with my sister, and she was kind of like, you know, glaring at me, and she was just dark as can be. But I did not see that at the time, you know, 10 years previous. So anyway, I thought this chick actually died, or I thought, see, she was a nurse, and she, you know, I mean, they have off 4 days out of the week, so, and sometimes she would take a nap, like about 1 p.m., so I thought she either died, number one, or number two, she went out of body, just like, you know, I kept going out of body at the time, and I thought maybe she attacked me. I thought maybe it really was her attacking me. Yeah, I really did. I thought maybe it was her, you know, I thought maybe she went out of body, and then, you know, of course, I went out of body, and I figured she attacked me. And Um, so anyway, I figured it out, you know, so that was about 2005, you know, 8 years down the road or whatever, that was actually a reptilian, you know, female that actually attacked me. Now, you know, I don't know what this, you know, female reptilian looked like in her natural form, you know what I'm saying? Because they can, you know, if she wanted to make herself look like a Chinese man or a black woman, she could, if she really wanted to. But she made herself look almost exactly like her, except older, wrinklier, uglier. But like I say, I'd rather have sex with that reptilian any day than her, you know what I'm saying? Okay, so anyway, but you got to understand too, there's something else that I thought of. It is possible that, in a way, that reptilian woman is her. You know, like that bitch, Cindy, could have actually lived a life, you know what I'm saying, as that reptilian woman that attacked me previously. Like, if that Cindy was a reptilian soul being, it's possible she could have incarnated into this dimension. I mean, like, the one that attacked me, the reptilian lady that attacked me, could have reincarnated into Cindy in this life, in this dimension or whatever. Just like a male reptilian incarnated into me, you know, in 1972. I have no doubt. But, you know, her, I believe she was probably more of a female reptilian if she really is a hybrid or reptilian soul being, which I believe she probably is. So you got to understand it's a little bit of both. Because in a way, you know, if like the male reptilian that incarnated into me, he's living the life as me and I'm still living the life as him. So it's the same situation with the Cindy woman. So it is very possible that, you know, those two things go hand in hand, and basically, you know, Cindy in a way did attack me. But it was mainly, you know, the previous reptilian she used to live the life as, you know, actually attacked me. But yeah, and like I say, back then, I wasn't asking for any of these experiences. I didn't know anything about aliens back then. All the paranormal activity that I had back then, which was a lot. Well, I had a lot of paranormal activity from 1994 to now. I mean, every year. Bam, 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 bam. But, yeah, I just thought it was all spirits and ghosts. My Uncle David or Danley, my spirit guide, and Mabe. Because I didn't know any other thing then. You know, I knew nothing about aliens. I never even talked to anybody that had been abductees. We had no freaking MUFON or, you know, UFO organizations anywhere that I've lived ever. And so anyway, let's see, what else could I say about this? So I didn't figure all of this out till, you know, 2012, that it was actually a female reptilian that was posing as her. But like I say, it could have been a little bit of both. That Cindy, I would not be surprised if she had lived the life of her in a past life. I would not be surprised at all. I thought there was something else I was going to say. Dang it. Something about, let's see, 2004. Well, anyway, I was having all these encounters in 2003, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or whatever. And I did not know, you know, it was aliens. And so, you know, I wasn't asking for this experience at all. But now, you know, back about 2013, 2012, when I realized what they were reptilians and greys and all these other ETs, now I consistently talk to them to get more, you know, out-of-body experiences and sex and all that. And I do get a lot of experiences, and it's because I do consistently talk to them. for experiences. But still, I'm not really in control. Sometimes it seems like it because I'll ask for something and boom, I get it. But they're still in control. Okay, so anyway, so that's my experience. Thanks for listening.